my storage space. For all $211 a month of it, it is amazing. And you really can sleep in it. Once you see it, it's like a 5 by 10 room. But they bring down the temp at night, I think, to defer you from sleeping, or to create like the worst situation possible for sleeping. I mean, it's right in that. No, I can't do men's clothes. It's just too much. I don't even know how to source them. I don't know the men's trends. I mean, just wrapping my head around women's trends and what women like, how to persuade women to wear vintage. Like, I'm not about to go say, oh, I can help men wear vintage too, and I can bring vintage fashion to the contemporary male. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. And when you go into a thrift store and you're already attacking women's vintage, that process takes 3 hours, and then you want to go attack men's. Nah, it's just not a efficient goal. So I'm sticking to what I know best, and that's the female fashion platform. Oh, I love this. I love this. What else is fabulous in my wardrobe? Too big. The problem is that we use an agency model, which is free, and it's awesome to use an agency model because they're well trained, and from an agency, they're so stick thin. Like, take me, and I'm like 6 feet right now on my heels, like subtract 20 pounds, and they just don't have this warm feel to them. So I wanted someone who's a little bit more fuller figure, I guess. But I understand that not everything I own is suited to that. Like, this is like a 6, this is like a 4, this is more like an 8. Anyway, it limits your options, because when something looks big on a skinny girl, it can always be pinned so that it looks like it fits. But if something doesn't fit a bigger girl, not to say she's bigger, but if she's bigger than the item, you can't really do much about that. That's the unfortunate reality of modeling, why everyone is stick thin. Like, I can unload a lot of this because they buy vintage and sell vintage stuff, but it would be like basically like $5 a piece. So basically you get a return because this pretty much costs $5 at the thrift store. So you just like equal out the end. Hopefully I can move some of it. There was another vintage seller who did the same thing, where she's like, you know, if it doesn't move for 2 seasons, it's never going to move, and I just have to get rid of it and start fresh and just put new energy into my wardrobe, because you get so tired looking at the same stuff all the time. You're like, God. And like, for me, sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm just going to wear this, like, no one's bought it, so it's fine. Like, these pants are actually from the summer collection, and I was like, I need a new look for today, and I need something new on the blog and something fresh, so I'll be crazy and wear zebra and yellow. Highlights, highlights. Highlights, highlights. I'm Sammy Davis of Sammy Davis Vintage, and I'm dead broke. And I am a curator and seller of vintage clothing for women. I make vintage fashion accessible to the contemporary woman through my online and in-person sales. I have been in business since April 2009. From there, I progressed and did special events and sales and pop-up shows. And now I am more recently selling online on the online vintage marketplace called Market Quickly. And hopefully we'll be moving into more digital sales and also continuing to present my collection to existing customers and new customers through special events, parties, and everything that incorporates what my brand is and how I can make it more accessible to my customer. Samantha Marie Davis, that's my name. Born March 16, 1986, in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So I grew up in the burbs of Lancaster. Really had that like idyllic childhood where I played a lot of sports. I went to a good public school. I had dogs growing up. I had a 4-bedroom home with a two-car garage. I received a car when I was 16. I spent my childhood climbing trees and playing in the creek and actually being quite the tomboy, which is ironic considering I love fashion now. But I like to say that I had one of those childhoods where everything was real and it really molded me to be a real person. After graduating high school, which is when I fell in love with journalism, and so I went to Temple University in Philadelphia because there was a really great print journalism program. I continued on at Temple, so I really excelled at Temple and was able to get all the best internships and work with some really talented people at the Temple News, newspaper at Temple, where I was a Arts Entertainment editor. I was shopping vintage. I was thrifting. People had different respects for it, and I even had a professor at Temple once. She was grown as a professor, and I was insulted at the time. She said to me, "Why don't you work in fashion?" And her name was Randy Glatzer, and Randy was like this prolific writer who won awards and was kind of full of herself. And here she is telling me that insinuating I wasn't that good of a writer, that I would be much better suited to fashion. I remember just feeling, oh, well, no, because I'm going to be an editor. I don't want to work in fashion. I want to work in my own fashion, which again relates to everything I said about being down to earth and real and kind of understanding my sense of self, and that it's something I can pass on in a positive way to other women. When I graduated from college, it only made sense that I would move to New York. So I put all this pressure on myself to get that post-collegiate job in New York City, which to many people in this country, that is like creme de la creme of location. And I moved 3 weeks after I graduated. I learned the week of graduation, I learned I had a job at First Publishers. And the day after graduation, I came to New York. I looked at 5 apartments, decided on one by the end of the day. It was down the street from where I live now. Gave the woman I'd be living with a deposit of $750. Got back on the Vault bus, and I was like, I just achieved my dream. I'm freaking moving to New York, and no one's stopping me.